Christmas Eve. No, you don't have the wrong channel. You are on the right channel. No, Tim won't be here. Jose won't be here. None of the crew will be here. They're spending time with their families, as hopefully you are doing this Christmas season. But I wanted to drop in here and wish you a very Merry Christmas and let you know that what you're about to watch here is a replay from 2022, The Island of Misfit Characters. So enjoy and Merry Christmas.
Tonight, we're doing a show that's inspired in part by the Island of Misfit toys from the famous Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer animated cartoon that we've all seen, I'm sure, where we go to the Island of Misfit toys and find that these unwanted toys are kind of sad, but also kind of interesting, especially the Flying Lion Moon Racer. I've also always thought that's the coolest name. It's just bizarre. Like you kind of like go, okay, there's a whole story on this island of misfit toys, which brings me to the subject. What untapped gold is being left behind in terms of alternate settings, possibly from our history, alternate histories, alternate future settings that we haven't seen mined very often in comic books? And we were talking a little bit before the show started about time periods that haven't really been mined fully and explored fully, I should say. And one of them was the Renaissance period. You don't see a whole lot of comic books during the Renaissance period and the Shakespearean period. You see, I mean, unless it's specifically focused to be a classic comic book and so on. But anyway, that's where we're headed tonight, right before the big Christmas break. Barb, I want to give you first dibs on what type of either time period or setting or character archetype or all of those would you like to see explored a little bit further in the realm of comic book publication?
Well, I think we've all seen a little bit of high fantasy done in comics. The elf quests, the sword and sorcery thing.
Sure.
Like Conan and stuff like that. But the one thing that almost all high fantasy stories, especially like Lord of the Rings, it all happens in Europe or in a Europe type setting. We're all horses and swords and everything like that. What if we took high fantasy and set it in the Aztec world or down in Australia?
Ooh.
You know, something like that. Just turn it on its head. Take it away from its mundane, tropish fantasy world of
elves and dwarves and knights
the European setting that we always see, and set it completely. Hawaii. Someplace that you do never see high fantasy done. I think, especially the Aztec angle, I think would be awesome.
Oh, yeah, be very interesting.
That would be super cool.
Yeah.
So that's your next project, right, Barb? That's what you're going to do after Divinity, right?
I have a next project, and that is not it. But
that is a good suggestion. For those aspiring creators who want to really push the edge, go for it. The Aztec high fantasy concept.
Take your ordinary, overused trope and set it in a completely unordinary location.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see something like that done. You could get into some of the mythology and sort of include it and weave it in, like Quetzalcoatl, the
flying dragon
being, the dragon being
serpent. Serpent.
Yes, the serpent, exactly.
Feathered serpent, yeah.
Yes,
the feathered serpent.
It's very, very interesting. What about character types? Anything come to mind in terms of, who have we not really seen in a leading role? A Maori character might be interesting. You made me think of that when you said, Australia, New Zealand area, the indigenous peoples of that region. That would be an interesting adventure mainly because what you do there is not only get the opportunity to learn about those regions and those histories, but also there's a quality of the unexpected where, wow, if we're in this strange of a place, literally anything can happen. So that there's something more compelling about that than doing the regular sort of thing. Wow, I start to think about my stuff and think, man, my stuff's really boring now. It's really different, you know. And, all right, that's it. I'm scrapping it.
We won't let Aaron know that. Oops, he's already
Oh,
here.
wait,
Yeah.
wait. Speaking of Aaron, I know you're chomping at the bit, dude. And I know I can guess what you're going to say. Well, the Japanese, man. I mean, we could do this.
I actually don't have anything. I honestly don't have anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
It's weird. I don't know. I just
You had
I'm
mentioned. I'm going to
stunned.
poke you on this one. You mentioned before you'd love to get a time machine and go to the far future. So that led me to think maybe Aaron would talk about like a far future opportunity. Like if you were going to do a super far distant future storyline, would you set it on Earth? Would you set it in an alien landscape? What would you do?
I did have a story for that. It was just a framework for it.
Uh-huh.
The only thing I remember, and I don't care if somebody takes this story, so I'll just explain it.
Mm-hmm.
It was the idea of that post-humans, thousands of years in the future, their Earth was dying and they couldn't get off the Earth. So in other words, instead of going out to space because distance too far to travel, they just went back in the past. They were going to overtake the past when the Earth was still young.
Okay.
And so we come back to overtake ourselves. But I was just, because of the evolution, our skin and stuff in the future was so dense, and we were about 50, 60 feet tall. Just to genetic engineering, that the only way that humans could defeat them was to use basically neutron stars, something the equivalent of a weight of a neutron star, and basically launch them out of railguns. So they developed these mechs or whatever that would basically launch, I don't know, a neutron star. A thimbleful weighs a few tons, so it would only be small. It'd basically it'd be almost like shooting depleted uranium shells, but they would basically be compact railguns that would defeat these things. That's it. That's all I ever got.
Kind of cool.
I had some other ideas.
Yeah. Very neat, far future idea. So if we see that, you can sue the guy. So, you know.
Well, me and Tim were talking about that was after hours. We were talking about railguns in here after hours. But poor Jose didn't understand it.
What a railgun was. Did you explain it to him?
Yeah, I explained it to him.
He picked it up. Well, good, good. Rory, I know you're chomping at the bit too because it's partially your concept. So
I have a list.
Yes, I'm sure you do. Unexplored time periods.
I was teasing him beforehand. See, I made a list.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So I'm a big fan of like late 1800s, early 1900s, turn of the century, because so much was happening at once that things can get lost, you know, in the details. I think before that, just to be even more obscure, I would like to visit just pre-colonial America.
Oh, there you go.
Because
you're taking mine, darn you.
Oh no, because the West was just getting there and sending over ships, but there was like very minimal interaction between
very
the
last
peoples.
of the Mohican type thing.
Oh yeah, give me some Daniel Day-Lewis. And with that, like Roanoke, you know, you could explore that endlessly.
Oh yeah,
what happened at Roanoke?
What did happen at Roanoke? Give us the sort of thumbnail sketch for those who may be unfamiliar with the Roanoke legend.
What is Croatoan?
Croatoan, yeah. So a group of English came over to settle it as a new colony, and they had all those supplies. They were getting ready for the winter, and the ships departed. Said, "Okay, we'll come back, you know, after the winter." And they came back, and everybody was gone. The settlement was just
no trace, right?
No trace of people.
No trace except for one word carved into a post.
Yeah, Croatoan. And that was one of the neighboring tribes. But what does that sign mean? Was it like it was them that wiped them out, or this is where we went because things got too hard, too difficult during the wintertime? But they did find, I don't know how many years later, some Indians that had lighter skin, blue eyes, like mixed, you know, racial traits, genetic traits. Yeah. I think that's probably what happened, because there wasn't any sign of like a battle or anything. It was just mothballed, just left alone. Yeah.
So that's right for storytelling. It's excellent. Also, we were speaking earlier about taking the template of high fantasy. Imagine, and think Game of Thrones. Now take Game of Thrones and place it in Native America, right? Before it's colonized. So you have all these tribes in different areas. And again, the sort of warlord idea, because some were peaceful, some were not. Right. And they were fighting over land and property and so on too. So again, you would have a ripe time period, and you would see things that we haven't seen. They'd be fascinating. And you could mix supernatural material into it as well if you wanted to. What else? Keep going.
Okay, so next I have early 1800s, the Barbary Wars. There was 2 of them. This is when I believe Jefferson or Jackson was in office. They were America's first overseas clandestine operations, because the Barbary pirates, the Muslim pirates of North Africa, were kidnapping American sailors and forcing them into slavery. And so it was Jefferson who was in office?
Right? I believe so.
That's probably right, yeah.
Yes.
And so he authorized the Marines to go over and get them back at all costs necessary, just whatever it took. So it was very successful. There was 2 of those wars. Also,
but let me pause here for a moment and reflect. Didn't that time period force America to basically build an efficient naval force? Yeah. Also inspired the Halls of Montezuma, Shores of Tripoli, Marines theme, correct?
Yep.
I mean, that's all connected to the Barbary Wars. Okay, I just want to throw that in.
A lot of good history there.
Yeah, people think they don't know that, but they know pieces of it from those elements.
Right. And on the heels of that, I would like to explore more the War of 1812, which was one of the most interesting wars you can think of, because you could have somebody with an Irish accent fighting in North America with French for the British, but then next month it's completely reversed and treaties have been met. It's just nobody knew what was going on.
I have been told by scholars that it is miraculous that we won the War of 1812 because of everything you say.
It is called the Second War of Independence.
They burned the White House.
Yeah.
There's some interesting stories, because I'm from up on the Great Lakes, and I'm sure Scott will attest to this as well. Up in Erie, PA, there's a place called Dobbins Landing right on the lake, and it's enclosed by a Presque Isle Peninsula that wraps around the coast. And Daniel Dobbins, there's a maritime museum there too. Daniel Dobbins was this guy. He was a American naval officer. I don't know if he was an officer or just a civilian, but he was running guns for the colonists, for the Americans.
Okay.
And the British caught him, and they put him in a fort prison, like out in Detroit or something. And like, I guess prisons were overflowing, or he was good behavior or whatever. But the Brits told him, all right, we'll let you go as long as you don't run any more guns. He was like, oh, absolutely. Yeah. So they let him go, and he starts running guns again. And they caught him again, and they put him back in prison in Detroit. He breaks out of prison, steals a canoe, and canoes from Detroit to Cleveland, back to Presque Isle, where the shipyard was for the Americans.
Wow.
Like, incredible. Incredible.
Wow.
That's not a short trip.
No.
I mean, the winds are blowing the right way. It's helping you out, but yeah. But like little stories like that just need to be told.
Oh, yeah. There's an area we don't see a lot of exploration there. I would say late 18th century America.
Yeah.
There's
frontiers. There's a frontier everywhere.
Era.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Good.
That Western New York, Niagara Falls region was that was the frontier at one point, and there's some beautiful paintings of it back then. It's what you think of when you think a classic post-Renaissance painting of the frontier, how this untouched world would look like, and just sweeping landscapes and valleys and big waterfalls. And it's beautiful.
It inspired such fiction as the idea of the untouched beauty of some Eden-like wilderness, like Shangri-La.
Oh yeah.
A lot of things. So there's one for you too.
That's my next one.
Okay,
Close.
Go, man, go.
I'd love a story, 1800s, hunting Yeti in the Ural Mountains and in the Himalayas.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's
funny.
a hunting
Wow.
Yeti, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
especially in that period because of the limitations of technology and so
Right.
on. Oh, it just makes it. We can imagine the courage it would have taken to to climb Everest or Shackleton's Adventures.
Oh, that's on my list too.
Yeah, well, there you go. See, we're on the same
About
lines.
air tanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gosh, just
Well, I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast that there is a series of fantasy novels out there by Naomi Novik called His Majesty's Dragon, and it's about a naval officer who takes up flying on dragonback during the Napoleonic Wars. Warriors rise up in Britain to Britain's defense, and they take to the skies. Only they're on dragonback, and the dragons are so huge that they have these nets that can cover them, and like whole squads of warriors can ride on dragonback, and it's like 7 or 8 books, and it's this sweeping tale of the entire Napoleonic War, and it goes all the way from up in the Germanic states down to South America, and in Japan.
oh, wow.
So I mean, it is a wonderful historical novels. I mean, everything follows like the regular Napoleonic Wars, except there's dragons, and that brings me to another thing is that there's a whole trope in fanfic called the is known trope, which is this is a perfect example. Dragons are known.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's just it's a known fact. That's
No one
an
bats
everyday an everyday thing. If you guys remember, do you guys remember the Sentinel series on TV?
show?
It was a TV show about the guy was a sentinel, so he had all these 5 senses that were hugely expanded. There's a whole trope on fanfic called Sentinels Are Known, which is they're an everyday thing. They're an everyday occurrence. Everybody knows what they are, what they're about, you know, and that could be expanded upon.
Yes, it could. Implementing fantasy elements as known, typical, and
everyday thing.
Parts of everyday life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like
that's good too. I like that.
aliens are known, or industrialized magic.
Yes. Yes, inspired by
magic is a known thing, and here we are. We're building skyscrapers in magic, you know, putting them up and industrialized magic, where it's a part of our everyday society, and we use it to function and build.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Bringing magic in as a known factor in everyday life. Yeah, because in Potter it was known but hidden.
Right. See,
from
it's a
Muggles.
hidden society.
Right. Yeah. So that's really interesting. Another one occurred to me. Go ahead.
Can you imagine the president of the United States and his one of the cabinet positions is
Minister of Magic,
or official sorcerer or official mage, you know, to the president.
There you go. I mean, there's your title for a possible story too. Sorcerer to the president.
Yes.
that blends
cabinet level position.
Yes.
Yeah.
That blends completely different genres. I like that. That's very cool. And so then you could also blend it with, special forces using sorcery, right?
Right.
Along with conventional weapons. So
mashup.
Mashup.
Talk about DC and Marvel mashup, man. Let's just mash
Let's
up.
just go there. Yeah.
Let's go. We can mash up John Grisham with J.K. Rowling's.
Or Tom Clancy with J.K.
There you go.
Right. The other thought I had along those lines, this would be 17th century Age of Exploration, the battles between the two grandest navies of the day, the British Navy and the Spanish Armada.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
But the Portuguese had the best pirates.
Yeah. If you know anything about that period of history...
Love it.
The adventure and the battle, the race to conquer new unexplored lands between Spain and England and France at the time, and just what went on. You want to talk about Game of Thrones with
Oh, yeah.
ship, man. That's that. And okay, then you introduce the element of magic in that, or some supernatural element. Like, let's say sea serpents are known, right?
Yeah.
So sea serpents on a ship, a British ship, who has to face off with the Spanish Armada and those types of monsters. That'd be super cool. I think why people may shy away from some of that is the research the creators would have to do to give it the imprimatur of reality, to make it seem real. The dialogue you'd have to learn, like Rory would know, because he you were in the Coast Guard, but you would know like the language, you know, the jargon and so on. You'd have to give it that to lend its authenticity.
That I think would be kind of easy. There's a book called 2 Years Before the Mast about this guy who just sailed around with, I don't know if it was pirates or just on a naval vessel, but just documenting life on board a ship. And you learn mizzen mast from, you know, your aft and your stern. You learn it all.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Port and starboard, the whole bit, all the knots. You still remember all the knots, Rory?
I can tie 3 knots. We had to learn 6 for boot camp, but I never used any of them except one. Round turn and 2 half hitches was the only one I ever used.
Okay, excellent. We'll have to review those at some point.
Oh yeah,
we had to learn those in Scouts as well. Speaking of Scouts, oh my gosh, the anti-Scout himself, ladies and gentlemen, the Scott Wakefield, also known as Swake, the other wizard of wordplay. How are you, Scott?
I am well.
Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Merry Christmas to you all.
We're looking festive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My one Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. We, as you know already, we're discussing untapped and unexplored time periods and character types that might be ripe for the taking in terms of aspiring creators. We have covered such interesting areas as the Aztec world, Roanoke, the Spanish Armada versus the British Navy. All sorts of cool things. Barb introduced the idea of the is known elements that you find in fan fiction, which is basically taking some fantasy element and claiming that it is known, like dragons are an accepted part of life, magic is an accepted part of life. And she came up with this idea of, what if you had an appointed office for the president as sorcerer? So it would be like sorcerer to the president kind of a thing, right? So we're kind of doing mashups along with unused historical periods. I was wondering if you had maybe an unexplored misfit character or misfit era.
So in the story, in the fiction world, did Rory touch on our hopes that when the Steam Patriots world is huge and everybody's reading it, and there's a Steam Patriots world at Universal Studios, we will have created
a Broadway show.
What's that?
In a Broadway show.
Yes,
and the Broadway show.
Musical.
It's like Spam-A-Lot, only
right?
Steam-A-Lot.
It'll be. We want to have a Barbary Pirates segment to our story world. So
through that in 1812 in.
The War of 1812 is the forgotten war. And where I live, Battle of Lake Erie is pretty cool on I forget which lake it was on, but
don't give up the ship.
Seriously.
Yes. That is untapped, I think, in the fiction realm. There's plenty of history books written on it. So that's we wanted to get that into a story, because I don't think that gets touched.
Well, tell us a little bit about why, like I mentioned and Rory mentioned earlier, the War of 1812 is one of those wars that a lot of scholars say it's amazing we even won that war, because it was just so crazy. Like the groups from the country folk that were fighting alongside us, would change almost daily. And, tell us a little bit about why that's such a unique war. I mean, just the thumbnail.
Oh,
Just
the
thumbnail.
You know what? I'm gonna. I have as much as research I've done as I've done of the Revolution. I do not know the minutia of 1812, but it's like because it's like
the most confusing war ever.
Right? They couldn't give it up. The British had to be like, yeah, and another thing,
Right?
And
I disagree.
And
we'll show you,
right?
Yeah,
and it's confusing. It's because it was like there was no. I know there were results from it, but it was like it's like this weird, like kind of mashed in war that it's odd all the way around. That's the
what
thing.
was the core conflict was in the wake of the Revolution. In other words,
it was the Second War of Independence. Britain wanted us back.
Yeah,
that's what I figured. Yeah.
I described it, Scott, as an Irishman fighting in North America alongside a Frenchman to kill the British until next month.
Right.
And then it was the other way around.
Right.
Yeah. It's odd. Battle of New Orleans, and of course we get the great Johnny Horton.
North to Alaska.
Well, not north to Alaska. That's another good one too.
That's another. Hey, there's another.
1813. We took a little trip.
Jackson down the mighty Mississippi.
Yep.
Fired our guns and the British kept it coming. Good song. So it's just. What's that?
Can you dance to it? That's.
You can move.
Sure.
I don't. No one wants to see my dance moves.
No one wants to see Scott dance right now.
I want to see it.
It'd be on the internet for a long time.
Oh yeah.
So, what about characters that we haven't seen? I mean, I know you guys, both the Wizards of Wordplay, are students of history. But what character types, we can even go outside of history to fantasy, that we just don't see that you guys would like to see? What is there anybody or any type that comes to mind?
I like the unbeknownst hero, the unwitting hero, where things he does just has really good repercussions for everybody else around him, and he's like totally oblivious to it, kind of like a Mr. Bean.
Oh, okay.
We're like a traveling merchant or something. He's like coming to a village and accidentally runs over an evil wizard that was going to destroy the village, and everyone
that's cool.
realizes he's dead.
He's going to do a Dorothy on him, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're talking about Inspector Clouseau.
Inspector Clouseau. Yep.
That's a great archetype.
Yeah.
Oh man! And if it was written with the wit of a Monty Python tone, how much fun would that be? Right. That's something I wanted to mention too. The comedy approach to subject matter in comics. You don't see it a whole lot. Cartoons, yes. Comic strips, yes. But in the comic book format, to do something along the lines of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, imagine that tone taken in comic book form. I think it'd be hilarious, but you'd have to have that sort of wit.
You have to be really good. That's the same thing. Like I've mentioned before, like being able to write mysteries and that sort of stuff, detective novels.
Sure,
you got to be really smart to be able to do that. And
how on the nose do you want to be?
Right, I can be kind of funny, but I don't know if I could do a comic book and make it funny throughout. Because with
funny,
film,
haha.
With film, you can have either the slapstick or the gags, the facial expressions, the pratfalls, the spit takes, all that sort of stuff. Sure. It doesn't quite have the punch, but you can. The written word can be. Like PG Woodhouse and the Jeeves characters and stuff. Like, my goodness, those are hilarious.
Right.
I would think it would. I don't know. Would it need? I haven't given much thought to this, so forgive me. I'm thinking out loud.
Would you have to explain the joke?
Would it have to be?
Well, you have to explain the joke.
Dialogue heavy, like one-liners, or.
Yeah.
I remember though, as a kid watching. It was on PBS, I think, and watching Monty Python and the Holy Grail for the first time. And I think I was like 14, and I just busted out laughing. Even I didn't get some of the the British humor, but the fact I think it was a combination of timing, accent. A combination of the slapstick, the pratfalls, and so on, but it was also the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you could capture that in a comic book, like if you came upon the Knights of Ni and they asked you for a shrubbery, and you did the ... and then the next panel, a shrubbery, right? Would it have the same impact?
I don't know, because there's a lot in the timing. Because when you're reading, you can't know he's supposed to interrupt.
Right.
You know, you can't know that there's time.
The voice inflection, too.
Right. The Knights of Knee. With a herring.
You must cut down the mightiest tree in the forest
with
a
herring.
Pause.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, you have to put brackets, pause.
But Arthur's reaction for that would play out well in the comic, because he's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
I know it can probably be done somehow.
You cannot interpret the Ministry of Silly Walks.
That's so good. Oh,
you would need a flip book.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
You know, and it is funny too, like watching, like watching British Top Gear is so much funnier than American Top Gear, and I think it's just because the way that the turn of a phrase, the way they say it, and they're funny. Their style, and those three guys are perfect. I mean, they're perfect together. So that all works really well. I don't think they've gotten it quite right with American Top Gear, but yeah, with the visual media of that, it's funnier. The pacing, the timing, the way, and I just keep using Top Gear, but the way they time their descriptions of cars, the engine winds up and sounds like a beagle being sent through a wood chipper. It's like, it's one of the, you can't, it's I don't know.
Yeah,
it's lost somewhere.
If you've ever hung around our colleague Pete Clinton for any length of time, he's a hilarious individual, and it's partly because he's British, and we find that I'm sure
being British is just his personality.
He can't help it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm sure he feels the same way about us, right? Those silly Americans.
Oh yeah,
they don't make any sense.
I don't know. Colonists, right? I know every 4th of July. I don't know if the listeners know about this, but every 4th of July he posts that same meme.
Yeah.
Colonists, something like that. It's really fun.
Happy Treason Day.
Happy Treason Day. That's it. That's it. But okay, so what about taking traditional archetypes and putting them in unexpected formats? Barb suggested taking the classic epic fantasy, let's say the Tolkien-esque environment, and placing it in New Zealand, prehistoric New Zealand, let's say, or Central America, or South America, or Africa, right?
We see too much high fantasy where it's all very European. They're on their horses, and
what if you took it there? That would be fascinating in a way. We've seen a little bit of this with the love affair with Japanese fantasy, because that whole genre has so much in common with our high fantasy, but instead of knights, you have samurai, and daimyo instead of kings, and all this other.
I just saw something like that today.
Did you indeed?
I saw there's a comic of The Witcher, but set in Japan.
There you go.
It works.
That would work. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I like when when you change so your wizard or your sage isn't always the old bearded guy with a staff. When you've got him or the young bearded guy with the Santa hat on.
Sure.
You don't. It's not always the same. I like when you mix those archetypes up, and every story doesn't have to have those archetypes, but it just almost every story ends up. Otherwise, you don't have an interesting story, because you either it has to be that person or it has to be somewhere that person makes the change or learns or grows or is sent on the mission or sent, all of those elements need to be there in one form or another. So I do like Rory said also that the hapless hero. I like the, I don't know if he played it up, the Dan Brown, the Da Vinci Code guy, the main character. He was a nerdy guy, he's not your typical hero. I like that when they have maybe
a teacher or something.
Yeah, he's a teacher of symbology or something.
Symbologist.
There's some of that to Indiana Jones.
Yeah, a little bit of the college
little
nerd.
Indiana Jones.
But even less like whip crack.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess is what they're doing with this next Indiana Jones. They're taking a 100-year-old man and.
Why?
I'm sorry I brought it up.
He's gonna jump on his hover
Sorry I
round.
brought it up.
He's gonna be
his hover round. That's terrible.
And call up Liberty Medical for all his diabetes supplies.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So
where's my medication?
he's gonna shout at the kids on his lawn. And,
it's really bad.
His lawn and drive through town. When you mix up when your hero is a older overweight guy, and he's like has to
what's his name from Seinfeld? Newman.
Make him the hero.
Make him the leading character.
Or the guy from Jurassic. Yeah, Newman from Jurassic Park.
Newman in Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Have you guys seen what is it? We spared no expense at Jurassic Park except we hired one IT guy.
One guy.
One guy.
Yeah.
I like when the characters are not there. The hero is not always the
action hero type,
muscly sword swinger or something like that. Yeah, it's not always Brad Pitt. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so Unlikely Hero is one of your picks. What about mixing and blending? Like we talked a little bit one night about, I think it was in the Time Travel podcast, about bringing fish out of water characters into an environment. For example, H.G. Wells travels in his own time machine after it's hijacked by Jack the Ripper into our world. So he has to hunt Jack the Ripper in our contemporary time and solve that mystery. And
while also figuring out how to go through our age.
Yeah, how to interact.
How does he interact?
How does he interact in our environment? And I thought that was a great challenge because I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. It's kind of old, but it is kind of clever. The idea of bringing that fish out of water, someone out of their own time into our time, and how they would react to things positively and negatively.
Like a young Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court.
Indeed, yes, that would be great.
I had H.G. Wells on my list too. Man, we're
just do you indeed?
On the same,
gosh, simpatico. There's a mind meld going on here.
I wanted to do like a third person perspective of him on his travels because when I visited Iceland back in like 2010, 11, we walked up this like dormant volcano, and there was a big like bronze thing, like this is where H.G. Wells stood when he thought of Journey to the Center of the Earth. And you're just looking out.
So
it was that spot. It was that spot.
So they say,
there was a plaque there. There's a plaque.
No, he was in Des Moines, Iowa.
The flattest place around.
He was having coffee, right?
It was the waitress's idea.
Sorry, nothing against Iowa, Barb.
Anyway,
just like following him around, like wherever he goes, and like the final page being him writing the opening words to it.
Oh,
yeah.
Long ago, it was one of those late night conversations with a friend where you're like, hey, I know. And so we were talking about how you would approach the Flash Gordon story in contemporary times. And I came up with this idea that you do it H.G. Wells style, where it's written by somebody who begins with, I actually knew Flash Gordon. I was there, right? Ooh. And so you get that sort of, the Sherlock Holmes, but written by Dr. Watson approach.
Yeah. Right.
Where Sherlock's not telling you the story, it's Watson telling you these stories. And who knows whether Sherlock was that great or not, right? It's his perception and his characterization that we all know so well. So the idea was that the Flash Gordon adventure happened, but it was told in comics in a sort of over-the-top way. And the way to tell it would be from someone like Zarkov, Dr. Zarkov, who was actually there, and tell you what really happened from the scientific point of view. And they, they traveled to another dimension, and, there was this emperor who's going to take over Earth. And you do it kind of a little more serious and a little less campy, although the movie was fun. But you try to take it out of a slightly more Star Wars tone than campy slapstick tone. Thought that might be,
I like what Venture Brothers did They took like Johnny Quest and just pulled out all the absurdities and had like Johnny grown up is like cracked out of his mind. But to write from the perspective of an adventurer who's aged and is like PTSD now, like I can't believe all that actually happened, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's an idea there. Johnny Quest, right?
One of the best
from
theme song, cartoon theme songs.
That
still stuck in my head.
Oh yeah, it's just a crazy jazz.
Part of my childhood.
Yeah. So think about that. But Johnny Quest, written from Johnny Quest's point of view. Say Johnny Quest is like in his 60s, right? And he's writing his memoirs. He's talking about his dad, Dr. Quest, and all this stuff. And you get the real story, right, of what actually happened. So
how they were really all just tripping on LSD and none of it actually
right. No, you don't go cynical and dark. You actually tell an action adventure, but you tell it from the fact that it got watered down into all these cartoons. But here's what we really did, right? So he was in the 60s. So let's say Johnny was, a teenager in the 60s. Basically, Dr. Quest is hired by the government, right, to help counter espionage, the Ruskies and the communists and whoever else we're and then fictional villains and so on, and Dr. No type of Bond villains and so on, and basically tell it from a semi-realistic historical point of view set in the 60s. Right? So you could do all the weird 60s conventional things that seem so odd to us now. But did you guys ever watch Mad Men? About the ad business?
No, I never watched
the first few episodes. But
it's just not my thing. But what I did appreciate about it was the fact that you saw how many people smoked, and it was a known thing, as Barbara would say. It was known. Everyone smoked, and it wasn't verboten, and you just did. And you didn't think twice about it. You're sitting there in the doctor's office, smoke right now, and person giving you a shot
on an airplane.
On an airplane. In a restaurant, smoking or none.
Yeah.
Like it matters.
This seems so odd to us now, but it's like, dude, I remember that. I remember, smoking.
Both of my parents smoked for 40 years, and I grew up around it.
Yeah.
And they both eventually stopped. Oh, no, but my brother and my sister both did.
I never did. My dad smoked. He's a soldier in Greece, and they started smoking when they were preteens back then. And he quit when I was a kid, but I remember it was such a part of life and
culture.
You see commercials now from that era. Not to mention television, but just commercials, and it's all over the place, man.
I mean, it was so natural I graduated in the 70s, so my sister was a little younger, my brother was a little older. All the teenagers smoked. It was like the thing you did in high school. I never saw the appeal. I didn't do it, but both my brother and sister picked it up, and by the time they were 14, 15 years old.
Yeah. I can see, 15 years down the road. Except it's a little different kind of cigarette, folks. But anyway, so
I can see Johnny and Haji sitting.
I know, right? Haji going, dude, enough, man. See, we take another turn down the wrong street here. Let's see if we're getting any comments here. You guys are idiots. No.
Finally, somebody speaks the truth.
Hello. Merry Christmas, everyone. Well, Merry Christmas to you.
Right. Christmas.
Indeed. There's one taking the Christmas idea, right? The world. I mean, obviously, we're sort of inspired by the Island of Misfit Toys, right? So what about the world of Christmas? How many movies have been made about
my goodness.
behind the
how about that one that's out right now where he comes in on into the house and there's a robbery going on, so he's all right, we're gonna save the little girl. I've just seen commercials of it, and he's a real badass dude,
right? You could explore that world, even the lore of Santa, and the elves.
St. Nicholas was not averse to violence.
Indeed.
I mean, he did touch areas in the face.
Tell us a little bit about his historical Saint Nick, because a lot of people don't know that he was like a bishop.
He was Greek.
Yeah, indeed.
Turkish or Greek?
Okay.
Hey, now we always know the answer to that is Greek.
Greek.
You know,
Right.
No, he was Greek, right?
It was Greek.
Everything
he's-
goes back to the Greeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys saw
you
the
give
big
me
fat
any
confetti.
word.
You know this rule.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway,
So-
go ahead, Rory.
So he was a bishop. Was
Uh-huh.
it Nicaea? But
Yes.
he spent a lot of time in prison
Mhm.
just because Christians were being persecuted left and right.
Mhm.
And there was a council called, and he went there because he was a bishop. And Arius, who was a priest, preaching the Arian heresy, something about Christ's humanity versus divinity,
Sure.
being an
Yeah.
adoptive son or not. And he spouted off something about Mary, Mother of God, and it wasn't very nice. And so St. Nick just went over there and just cracked him in the face, just laid him out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So starting it up, man. I mean,
You
just
will
like
not
mixing
talk
it
about the
up,
version like
top
that.
bat, you know.
Yep.
So hey, so fast forward to now, Santa's not averse to a little bit of,
Right.
setting somebody straight if they're out of line, right? Not
Yeah,
remember, naughty or nice. So maybe there's a little more to getting just coal in the.
Right.
Well, you know why Santa's so jolly.
Why?
He knows where all the naughty girls are.
But seriously,
Thanks, Dad.
He does also he sees when you're sleeping, and he knows when
He
you're
knows when
awake.
you're awake.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean,
Things
what has
are
he got a
adding up.
Palantir?
He's a
I mean, he's got a
perv.
Palantir watching through every. I mean, how creepy is that? Right? Think about that.
And how is he
It's like,
paying attention to it? My
I
goodness.
don't know, how many people?
My
right?
goodness. Wow.
Is he got some sort of like
Yeah.
I don't know way to immobilize time? I mean, think about that though. There has to be a time lapse or time freezing.
I like
capability.
the time theory. The whole like zips around like on a
Mhm.
really really
The
fast
physics would kill you.
and like the
acceleration.
Slay.
the
The
Aardman
sleigh,
one
is that
that
the word
was
you're struggling for?
Arthur Christmas. Anybody see that one? It's a British Aardman, the people that do Wallace and Gromit and all
Oh,
that.
interesting. Well, you mean it's
Um,
animated like stop?
It's
motion?
animated. No, it's not stop motion, but
Oh,
it is.
okay.
Actually, I think it is. I think it's Aardman. It's good. It's fun, but
Okay.
their premise is he does zip around like in time overnight, and I don't know. I can't ascribe to that. That's I like the time freezes situation, and maybe you
Freeze
catch a
time.
glimpse of them because if you're a kid, you wake up and
Yeah.
mid freeze with a little bit of Christmas magic.
Right, right.
I'll agree to that.
Okay.
The,
But-
the physics works a lot better.
the
Relativity. and
whole
all.
zipping around in one night, my goodness, no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No.
So you got to ask yourself, was there a wizard involved, and was it a witch? Put one foot in front of the other.
But-
You know what I'm saying?
My
So-
kids. That's one of my favorite lines when he's what does he say? You better not when it's Mickey Rooney. And he's saying you better not shout, you better not cry. Why? I'm telling you why. I love that line for that movie. He's like so
Oh,
pissed
that's
off. I'm
great.
telling you why.
It gets a little intense, right? It's like, okay, put down the whiskey. Put
Right.
it down.
Come on, okay, Mickey. It's okay.
Right. It's gonna be all right. But
So
yeah,
angry.
so that whole thing, bring in a little wizardry into the
Yeah.
North Pole. I mean, something has to be magical there. Is it just that Kris Kringle learned that magic? Was he tutored by a Gandalf type of individual?
Ooh.
Oh, who taught him? That's good.
And hang on, where did he get the Palantir? Where? I mean,
to
saying
watch
it.
everybody, yeah.
I mean,
Did
did
apostolic
Tolkien have a good
succession.
idea? Was he explaining
If-
Santa? Come on.
If all the Lord of the Rings, the Trek, the Star Wars nitpickers were there, what's his backstory? What's
Right?
who's controlling him?
Who's controlling this? How does he warp time? How does the sleigh fly?
It doesn't make
He's
any
obviously
Doesn't
a-
make any sense.
Well, they call him a
right?
jolly old elf. He's obviously an
He's-
archfey.
sense. Yeah, and is he little? Is he big?
I mean, is
Would
he an
it-
elf?
does he
I mean,
gain
really?
weight?
Is he an elf? I mean, are we connecting him to like Elrond? Is he half elven? Is he the Valar? Is he the Maiar?
Which is he?
How
He
old-
He can
how
live
far
forever,
does
but
he go
can you
back?
kill him?
Does he age? And some iterations, like you got people going just showing up at the North Pole, like Barb was saying, it's one of those
Mhm.
accepted facts of the world. Yeah,
Right.
Santa's right up. We'll just
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah, just go with it. He's
No
in the
one's-
north. He's just
right.
there.
He's
She
right.
can obviously live forever, but what about Mrs. Claus?
Ooh.
There
Wait,
Is she of the
he's
same
a
kind?
Highlander. He's from the
Ooh.
He lives forever, right? But the
Yep,
Mrs. Claus
he is.
thing has to be rotated through.
Yep.
So it's kind of a sad part to his life,
Yeah.
right?
So when he finds the new Mrs.
Rudolph
Claus,
isn't really magical. He's just a teenage drunk.
Just
Just like he's got red nose.
just drunk and that
What's going
talk
on
about
there?
talk about some horrible lessons. That Rankin Bass movie, while I do watch it at least once every year,
Of course you do.
they're horrible. And Santa is such. You should be ashamed of yourself for siring
Oh, the
this.
dad? You mean
this
Rudolph's dad
child.
being a jerk?
Yeah.
No, he's the quintessential mean coach, dude. He's the
Yeah, and then- yeah.
quintessential mean
All right,
coach.
yeah.
Come on, son.
We're not going to play any reindeer games, right? Yeah. They're just so horrible.
But
all
hey,
the way around.
you do have, but
now you know
have-
why that elf wanted to get out of there and be a dentist.
Yeah,
did.
right.
Yeah,
First,
this is
you
like,
have
give me
the right
a real
idea,
job.
right?
Get me out of here.
I want to be a dentist.
He's screaming at him.
Now look,
Hermie!
there's a story for you, right? What's Hermie's story? What does he do
Yeah.
after that, right?
I
Does
know.
he set up his own office? Does he get
I'd like to
dental
think so.
practice
He
going?
does.
I mean,
He starts
Does he
setting
flunk out of
appointments.
dental school and have to settle for dental assistant?
ooh,
Oh,
see?
yeah.
And then he becomes
Yeah.
bitter and old alcoholic. You never know.
See, it always goes dark with you.
Drinking
I know,
peppermint
right?
schnapps all day.
Right?
Ah, it's really it's so sad. I don't know. We need to cheer Rory up.
So-
Everything's going dark with his end. Go ahead.
So, of course,
Yes.
is it Christmas movies? If you haven't put them on your list, Mystery Science Theater versions.
Ooh.
The Christmas
Yeah.
that almost wasn't. That's one of
Yeah.
the new ones with Joel. No, not
No.
with Joel. With Joe.
Mike Nelson.
No, and then Santa Claus Conquers the Martians is an old one with
Ooh.
Joel.
Is that the one
It's
with
gold.
Joel?
That's
It's
good.
Joel. It is a Joel. I think that's a Joel
Yeah.
one. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. That's in
Oh,
the
that's
Wakefield
awesome.
rotation. And then there was one just called Santa Claus. And Satan tries. It's a Mexican movie, so it's
Yeah.
dubbed, which makes it even
Okay.
more.
All right. That's
Awesome.
Satan wants to stop Santa Claus, but he's like moderately effective. Like all his attempts are just like these like you could try a little harder, Satan, if you try. And Santa is on like the moon or another planet because he has this weird telescope thing to watch
Ugh.
Earth.
Mm.
It's very strange. Just I
how
recommend
odd.
those Mystery Science
That
Theater
that
movies.
sounds
Oh,
fantastic.
all
But
of them.
again, that's
And
an
anything with
area
tracks.
oddly, much like we were talking about a couple weeks ago, successful movies and video games that don't make successful comics. Why no Christmas comics, people? Come on. It says
Mm.
popular holiday on there. I mean,
Yeah.
no Christmas
Yeah.
comics? No secret Harry Potter training place for the elves. I mean, what?
Mm.
Where is
Where-
that?
'cause-
Where? How do you fly? How do you teach the reindeer to fly? You know, there's got to be a Hagrid character that trains the reindeer.
There's a whip involved.
Right.
Now, there you go. Wow. Well, then you take it out
Oh,
a different
talk about
doorway,
going
right?
dark.
So it's
Right.
a PG-13 version.
PG
I don't know. But
I
mean,
think I want Christmas stuff or
Yeah, yeah.
any holiday stuff.
Holiday,
I think
any
people
holidays.
are only in the mindset during
For
that season.
ah,
so you-
Yeah.
While it can be a moneymaker, right? Like if you
Mhm.
get a Christmas song that plays on every station
Mm-hmm.
every day for more than a month.
mhm, mhm.
Isn't that the premise? What's the movie? There's a premise that his dad wrote a Christmas song, and he's
Listen.
Oh my God.
Is it bringing back memories, kids?
if
I
you-
can't
if
let it
you
play
write-
too long for
if
copyright
you write a
reasons.
Christmas song that gets played every year, I mean that's a ticket to millions.
All right, I have a horrible confession to make.
Yes.
What's
Oh, no.
I was glad when Frosty melted.
Oh,
I can't.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Barb,
that-
Barb,
what a horrible
Frosty
character.
the Snowman is one of the worst movies ever.
Yeah.
I cannot
Wow.
stand it.
It
My
is.
kids know it. I will muscle
Yeah.
through it, but I'm just this. I can't.
Yep.
I
You
I
can't go
hate
there?
that movie.
You mean the
I hate-
cartoon or the
The cartoon.
The cartoon.
Cartoon. I wanted him to
is
stay
wild.
melted.
I could, he's
Oh,
it's just I can't stand it.
Yeah,
I can't
his
stand
voice
that
is
one.
annoying.
Can be.
And,
Happy
who
birthday.
said, you know what? Let's have Jimmy Durante sing.
Oh,
Yeah.
seriously, right? Yeah.
Why? But yeah, Frosty.
He's
the
no
Snowman.
Hey, he's no Burgermeister.
No, he is
No.
No, I mean, there's one for you.
yeah, Barb. I'm
but
glad
again,
we're on the same page with that one.
the lore that is built around these stories and fairy tales and so on, what you could go into with that in a comic book, even if you did one for children, right?
Mhm.
You could explore that would it just be limited to the holiday season? You think?
One of the thoughts I've had is I like a lot of the Native American lore, and we've talked about this a little in like other conversations about untapped ideas.
Yes.
Living up in Ketchikan, I loved the Pacific Northwest Native lore and so forth. I think that would be great. Expanding those myths.
That's annoying now. Stop.
Yes, it is.
Sorry, guys.
It's annoying. Stop it.
For a minute.
Thank you, Rob. Dean, taking those myths that sometimes are fleshed out, but a lot of times with myths, it's a story, but then actually turning it into a story, and fleshing that out. I love that idea.
I think
especially like in the horror side of it, making it scary, because a lot of those myths.
If you actually go back, all these Christmas stories all started in the pagan stories, and it was adapted.
It gets
and
mashed.
Some of those pagan stories aren't.
Oh yeah,
no, they're not.
Belschnickel and Krampus.
Oh yeah, Krampus.
Hey, explain Krampus to people who may not know who Krampus.
You know what?
You might know.
So Krampus is like the counter to Saint Nick, and comes the day before Saint Nick, and takes all the bad children and puts them in his sack over his shoulder,
carries them away. Wow,
carries them away.
So he and Saint Nick like had a face off. Saint Nick's like boom, like Rocky and
right.
All the like a lot of the Grimm's fairy tale stuff too. Like those are.
It's all about keeping children in line.
So scary. So they're
cut off the heels.
Yeah, the Cinderella, right? Yeah, which is funny because like the prince didn't realize that glass slipper's full of blood. She chopped the toes off.
They look back and the snow is covered.
Right,
with blood.
the birds are singing. Look back! There's blood on the trail.
I mean, think about think about the real. I mean, let's get real here about Cinderella. She's literally abused, right? She's cleaning out the fireplace,
right?
Being mocked and just treated like crap by the stepsisters and all this other stuff. And yet, what makes her the choice? It's beyond just that she's, the typical beautiful fairy tale princess, whatever. It really is that endurance that she endured, man. She took it, man. She stood. I mean, think about that, man. Just the whole thing. So it taught a lesson, like a lot of these Grimm's fairy tales. There was a lesson, like don't trust.
Don't go into the woods.
A hairy, tall individual dressed like a grandma. Come here, little girl. Maybe don't trust that. If
it doesn't look anything like your grandma.
Yeah,
you might not want to go to that dude. That probably is not a good idea. Come here, I've got some candy for you. Why does grandma have such a deep voice? Oh, don't worry about that.
When I watch older movies with my kids, and I'm talking even like from the 90s and the 80s, I do tell them, I say, simpler times.
Yeah.
So when we go back to medieval stories,
too hard.
Simpler times.
Simpler times. No internet, and you have to whisper.
People didn't look up
internet.
Yeah.
How come grandma looked like a wolf? and Little Red Riding Hood was okay with it.
Yeah. Well,
but I do like
taking a drag queen. Well, that just wasn't discussed back then. It happened.
That wasn't
but everybody just ignored it.
Yeah, there was nothing.
Very, very niche subculture.
Yeah.
I do like find like those kernels of the myth, and I like stories centered around those because there's something there. Something that culturally and geographically the story crept up, and then taking part of that story and turning it into a broader story, or putting a character into that story surrounded by that myth as if it's it's accepted. I do like that idea, and I have a horror story idea that I've been working on. Care
to share just the?
I would involve the Wendigo and Frozen North.
Yeah.
So
I like that. Yeah.
I was gonna use that for my Lewis and Clark story.
Nope, can't. My idea. Sorry.
No,
Copyright Scott Wakefield.
I'll fight you for
Infinity.
it.
That's how it works, right? You just say
Yeah, yeah.
copyright.
I declare.
It's recorded. If this story comes out, I'm gonna
Poor man's
Has to
copyright.
be
Mail it to yourself.
registered.
sue you for
Has
every
to be
dollar you're worth for the
I
dozens
put
of
the
dollars you
TM
have.
after it.
Yeah.
Well, have there been any myths like that explored in comics? Xenoscope was one of the publishers that took Grimm's fairy tales. Boy, they went kind of R-rated, semi-R-rated, a little bit of good girl adventure with a lot of their Grimm's fairy tales to sell their books. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Xenoscope, but they made quite a bit of money in the, I guess, late night. When was it, Barb? Late 90s, early 2000s, with kind of the sexy adventures of, hey, you know what I mean, Little Red Riding Hood, if you know what I mean.
They're still around. They're still doing that.
They're still doing that. Yeah. So
it's still working for them. Yeah.
that's one way to go. But again, what if you went the other way, like Scott, what you're talking about, where you go dark and you basically do Hansel and Gretel with an actual cannibalistic witch, right?
Yeah.
How scary would that be, right?
I've done that in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done that in movies. But again, do the comic and don't try to like just make it a straight up cannibal witch scary story and just go there. Wow. Speaking of scary stories, ladies and gentlemen, we're walking. Whoa!
You know how long I've worked on that?
Merry
Good
Christmas,
timing.
Brent.
Merry Christmas, Brent.
How are you?
What?
Merry
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mahana, Kwanzaa, Kata.
Very nicely done.
A Festivus for the rest of us.
We're talking about unexplored lore and myths that might make good comic books, and you know, we've touched on some things. We kind of veered off, as we often do, into the realm of Christmas lore. And what if you dug deeper into Christmas lore? You know, do you have any thoughts of areas, time periods? Doesn't have to be Christmas lore. That's just where we went to do comic books in that haven't been explored. Some of the time periods we have discussed. 17th century, the age of exploration, 18th century, 19th. We've talked about Victorian stuff. We've talked about taking the tropes and the cliches of today's storytelling and putting them in completely different cultures, like taking epic fantasy and putting it in Africa or Asia or Central America or Hawaii and this sort of thing. So we've kind of touched on a few things, but anything in your mind, like, man, I'd really like to write a story about, you know, a comedian in the Renaissance, or, you know, whatever.
Charlie Chaplin does the Shakespeare around.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And this is a Christmas theme?
Sure. It doesn't have to be. Well, it started out with the Island of Misfit characters. So, you know, it was misfits that we really don't see a lot of stories about, or time periods that we don't see a lot of stories about, that have sort of been forgotten and unwanted by the comic. And maybe you could bring them to fruition and, I don't know, build a fan base out of it, or, you know, or maybe not, you know. I mean, thoughts. He's thinking. He's got the thoughtful look. He's chewing on the glasses. So
Well,
that usually means good things.
like the whole this is me really moving quickly.
Go for it, man.
One of the things that I really liked about where my idea of Kalos came from was I read a couple of books about the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
And the simple fact is, for a lot of their history, they are an agency that has no real oversight. And president after president has tried to rein them in and can't seem to, because they also represent kind of everything that America is not. You know, the idea of freedom and personal accountability and being truthful with people. I mean, they're a spy agency, and that's partly why they're not the greatest at their jobs, as opposed to, like, say, another country that actually loves secrecy and having their people in the back. Like the KGB was probably much more effective than the CIA because they never pretended to be about truth, justice, and freedom.
Right.
So it's occurred to me it would be really intriguing to see them at work in another part of history that we don't associate with them. Like, I don't know. What if they were behind COVID, or what if they just found out America was going?
Oh, that's a dirty word with me right now.
People. So yeah, no, and so that's just an area that just seems ripe for exploration. So.
Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe we could do a mashup where the CIA sends an agent to the North Pole to find out, if Santa is operating within the parameters that are acceptable to the CIA, and they decide that you know what, this is just not going to happen, and they try to cancel Christmas, and it's up
All right,
to
you know what the CIA would do if they went to Santa? They would
What
say
would they
you would make a perfect spy because you can
When
get
they
into
corrupt
every
Santa,
country.
but Santa actually turns out to be a double agent, and he ends up bringing down the evil leadership of the CIA.
Because he can get into every country in the world without being seen, so he would be the ultimate spy.
Yeah, it would be.
Or the fact that Santa Claus, for reasons that have only been touched on, is able to bend time and space.
Yes.
So that he can go to all of the good children of the world and bring a personalized present to each of them. I mean, the CIA would kill. There's not a country in this planet that wouldn't kill for that technology. So what if suddenly someone finds out where Santa Claus really lives? All the governments of the world would suddenly converge and try.
The CIA would go, well, you don't want to have anything to happen to Rudolph now, do you?
It would be a shame.
Mrs.
It'd be a shame.
Everyone
Shame if
just
Mrs.
made
Claus-
my naughty
They'd
list.
start waterboarding Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, nice life you
Oh,
got
my
there,
God.
Santa.
Oh, wow, it's getting really dark. I
Be a
know.
shame.
It's funny. We were talking about how if you did a mashup of sorcery with that
Sorcery
environment,
so, and a saucier.
right?
Oh.
Exactly. Ooh, I like that. Hey, it's
That's
a cookbook,
good.
kids. It's a cookbook.
Saucy.
No, but we thought of this title that really encapsulated that earlier. Barb inspired this idea: sorcerer to the president. Right. So you blend the idea of, hey, either magic has always been there, and now it's certainly
magic is known.
Magic is known, right?
Yeah, we use it to in our infrastructure and everything about our life, and
Sure.
So there's a cabinet position called the sorcerer to the president.
Sorcerer to the president. So the sorcerer to the president wants to get this time and space bending device from Santa, and they have to go up on a mission to the North Pole. So they're wearing all the the polar gear, and they're climbing up the mountain to Santa's castle, and
I stationed Zebra.
yeah, they have to fight with these elves.
One of the best
What a
movies
cool-
ever.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So yeah, that would be cool. That's a comic book for you right there. But okay, here, this is a good question for you, Brent. Could the Christmas themed comic book story, I should say, could that last outside of the holiday season? Because Scott proposed that this stuff only works for a limited time, but could it extend regardless?
Oh, absolutely. For this reason, Santa doesn't die or disappear when Christmas is over. Theoretically, he starts planning for next Christmas, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
If you want it, you could even time it out to even like if you were going to say if it was a Silverline book, we'd probably do like 4 issues in 4 years. But say we could condense 4 issues into a year, we could have each season, and during each season, we would see how Santa is actually preparing to, for next Christmas. It would be a fun take on what's Santa's process.
Each book done by a different creative crew.
Right now, there's a
Good.
huge supply
You could
chain
do
issue,
4 in
so
a year that way.
What I was meaning is, I think from the readership, people after December 25th, they check out of the Christmas. They even if we're talking about Santa in summertime, I feel like the mindset is they turn that off. That no one wants to buy or listen to or I
Depends
could
on
be
if
wrong.
if we made Santa like John Wick, then they waited all the time.
Maybe.
Yes.
No. But would Santa need a security team around the castle, right? And who would they be? Would they be elves? And would they be Tolkien-style elves, where they're like Legolas,
Dark
but
glasses on.
using
Keebler.
9 millimeters?
Yeah, no, I think
and they've got like
Santa elves are.
Yeah.
They're
Have you got eyes on Big Red
We are
One?
Santa's elves.
They're in all
We
black,
are
black pointy
Santa's
hats, night
but see,
vision.
that's all
Yeah.
for the cameras, right? But they're
Over,
really
I've got eyes.
talking
I've got eyes
elves.
on Big Red One. Do you?
Yeah.
Eyes on Big Red
Right.
One.
Exactly.
Dude, he weighs 400 pounds. Everyone has eyes on.
Yeah.
See, there you go. We get Brent to write on the comedy dialogue.
Yeah.
We also brought up, Brent, that it would be fascinating for someone to write, and you'd be a good candidate for this, to write a Monty Python style take on some history in a comic form. And we were trying to decide whether the whole skit of the Knights of Ni would actually work in a comic book. And we were like, I don't know. Part of timing and inflection, facial expression is so critical to those bits working that could it work as a comic book? What do you think?
I think it could.
Okay.
I think, I mean, the best thing about that whole bit is that it's a bunch of very small moments strung together. They don't, I mean, maybe I'm missing it, and you can convince me otherwise because you caught me at a time when I'm not thinking very well. But this cough syrup is awesome. But anyway, so the movie is not huge on atmosphere, right?
Right.
It's very dry.
On
Very
bits,
dry.
and bits work great in comics if you can do it right. Because with bits, you have panels that naturally space out the time or compress it or expand it any way you want. One thing comics don't do as good is atmosphere, just because you're looking at pictures when what you really want to be doing is having it all around you. And you can do that with movies. It's a lot harder with comics. Which is why there are not a lot of great horror comics out there, I think. There's some, but
we'll change that.
Not the go-to genre.
Change that. We'll have to change
So,
You know what? I think would
You're
work.
thrown down the gauntlet of challenge, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
I really, it's literally, atmosphere is my thing. I try to put atmosphere in everything I draw. So I'll try to defy your statement by action.
I
There
think
are some
one
challenges, definitely.
something parallel to Monty Python that
Yes,
could
indeed.
work would be Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Oh, are they dead?
Are they dead?
Are they dead?
That's just a question. Just throwing it out.
Because it's very, very flat, very deadpan the whole way through.
Yes.
But it's still
I like
funny.
it. Well,
It'd be
and-
interesting if you did like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are undead,
Oh,
now you're thinking.
eating
Trademark.
all the other Shakespearean
Now you're
characters.
thinking.
the
Yeah,
Pride,
dig it.
Prejudice, and Zombies.
Yeah,
I've always thought Rosencrantz and Guildenstern sounds like a law firm.
Well,
Yeah.
ink.
Should be.
Ink.
Ink. Lots of ink.
If you know what I mean.
Red ink.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are fighting for you.
There you go. And they're
You don't get
pointing
paid,
and freeze
we don't
frame
get
it.
paid.
Oh man, that would be great, right?
Slip and
Here,
fall at
flip this
work.
coin.
Slip and fall. Oh, I love this. Oh, where are we going from here? Who knows? It can only get better.
Can we
Yeah.
buy rights? Oh, I think we could do that.
That's right.
Where do you go to buy rights to something?
Where do you
No,
go?
it's public
Buyrights.org?
Well, it's probably not on the left side.
You have to. What you're going to have to do? Oh, Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun. But seriously, folks,
Are you feeling all right? Nope. I'm half
waka
off.
waka waka? You can find out whether something's registered, or you just use that good old fashioned internet thingy and just
But like-
ask it. You know, who owns the rights to?
Shakespeare, right? I mean, that's got to be. You can. Everybody.
You
Can
can
Oh,
do
that's
any of that, any of
yeah. I
that,
think
yeah.
you can mine that all day long. You
Yeah.
know, as long as you're not, copying Shakespeare in Love.
Well, before Disney got involved,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, does
changed
Disney
the
own
copyright
Shakespeare?
law so that
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse could stay
La-
in
Oh.
their control forever.
Last I checked, Disney owns the Bible. I think. that
Yeah,
you
right.
can-
Oh,
you
no.
can't-
Well, hang on.
Which translation?
Can anyone do Snow White? That's a good question. Can anyone do Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? I mean, it's
I think
actually
we can,
a
'cause that
fairy
is-
tale.
Well, you
Yeah.
can, but you're probably going to get sued by Disney.
Yeah.
Really?
I would
Yeah.
do it just to
If-
piss them off.
Yeah.
You-
I mean, I would do it just to be like, hey, look, this is an old fairy
Yeah,
tale.
but they
This
have
is-
deep
yeah, this came
pockets,
before
and
you.
they can
Yeah, I
throw
know.
they can
I know they do.
throw the lawyers at you. That's
Disney.
the problem.
Now there's a comic, right? The Enforcers of Disney come after you because you're
Well,
trying to
they're
draw.
more powerful than the mob now.
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean,
They only just in the past few years started letting state troopers onto their property.
seriously.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Hey, you worked for the
by
Ever
law. It's a
Corporation,
different,
didn't you, Rory?
it's a different
I did.
entity. They'd have
Yeah.
their
I
own
worked for the Rat.
taxes. They have their own fire department. They have
weird.
their
Yeah.
own police.
They paid for the
It's-
hospitals
yeah.
so that nobody
Yeah.
dies in the park. They're declared dead in the air.
Nobody
They have
died.
their own gift
Oh.
shops too. So
Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Actually,
what
I dated a
happened-
girl whose
Hey,
dad was an Imagineer.
well, there you go.
What?
An Imagineer.
I've hired for a couple
Like
of
a
months,
Mouseketeer?
the guy who was Captain America at Universal. So
Ooh.
it's not Disney, and I suddenly can't believe that I even brought it up. I feel
It's all right. That's
I'm-
okay.
that's okay. It's same
It's
genre.
in Orlando.
Officer.
It's
It's-
right
yeah.
nearby.
But it's well, yeah, that's
Same
right.
name.
Disney now. He was quasi anyway.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
I guess you couldn't do one of my favorite stories when I was a kid. When I went to Disney World, was what if you stayed after the park closed and like some of the rides actually
It's awesome.
lasted and came alive, or just walking through the closed ride, like I don't
Yeah.
know,
Tower
Full
of
of
Terror.
Toy Story. Full of Toy Story at Disneyland.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you know,
Haunted Mansion, and the
all
ghosts are
that-
actually
yeah.
just hanging
dude,
out.
Haunted
Yeah.
Mansion. No,
Yeah.
how
People couldn't
scary would
figure
that
it.
be when it's closed and shut down and the lights are like dim and you're just walking through it?
It's
That
pretty
would be
awesome.
scary, dude. Have you done that? Seriously, you've done that?
A
Any-
couple rides.
Any environment.
Space Mountain's terrifying.
I
Yeah.
bet it is.
Any
Oh.
environment that is full of people,
Yes.
when all the people are gone, like hospitals
Yeah.
or schools, that
Yeah.
like
Psychiatric
They're
wards.
yeah,
Spooky.
like
They're spooky.
does everyone remember Silent Hill, the video?
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being scared out of my mind because
Yep.
of that. It sounds like PlayStation 2
And the
Yeah,
movie
this
made it kind of
graphics had to
campy.
dude.
had
Yeah.
to be horrible. But
Yeah.
that game freaked me out.
Yeah.
But anytime like I was I one of my first jobs when I was in college, my one of my jobs in college was overnight cleaning car dealerships.
Ooh.
Two
Oh.
car dealerships and a bank. The company I worked
Ooh.
for. And it was
You did
weird.
put together a robbery plan, didn't you?
I did. I didn't
have
have
to.
time to, I was trying to do the
Yeah.
combination. I was listening at the,
Yeah.
um,
Have
but
you
yeah,
seen
being
the
in a-
Key and Peele about that?
being in a bank and
That's
being
called
in
a job.
the dealership after hours, it's just weird.
I bet it is weird.
Anytime I was in the school, our school, like our high school with no people, it's just weird. It's just, it's like,
One of my first jobs in college was working at the Cobb Institute of Archaeology on campus,
Ooh.
and I was cataloging. Yeah, we had Egyptian displays and
Oh yeah.
displays.
of
and all
course, of course.
this.
that's
And-
Of
yes,
course. Yes.
So
Very,
you're
very
cursed.
cursed.
Okay.
Now, well, yeah, in a way, yeah. And so now you know my secret. So I'm
Great.
working late
Egyptian.
at
Wait a
night.
minute.
That explains your
And-
youthfulness.
Yes, a deal was made, my friend. A deal was made. No, but
Struck.
Where
So-
is the painting?
and I had the boring job of cataloging shards of pottery, not shards. You don't call them shards; you call them shards of ancient
Yeah.
pottery.
That's
And that place is the
shards.
creepiest. A museum after dark
Yeah.
is one of the creepiest places.
I-
you can be.
I worked at the
Oh.
we have a 18th century living museum.
Red
No, sorry,
Drift.
19th century living museum. Yeah, same thing. I had to do my rounds at night. It was fun. I loved it. But yeah, it's just like
It's like, ooh. Yeah.
Good flashlight.
And see, there's the title of your comic: "When the People Are Gone."
When the,
Oh man. Oh.
See, man.
that's good.
See,
Oh,
good.
That could
write
be
that
that
down.
could be a great anthology book.
Misfit
Yeah.
when the
character.
people are gone.
Yeah, night watchman at a little museum.
After the
No.
people have gone. After
Yes.
the people have gone.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, Rob. There you
I'm
go.
writing
Well,
it
see,
down. That's too good.
we keep teasing this so-called horror anthology that somebody's going to do at some point. So I don't know. We need to be working on that on the
You
side.
know, it could
I don't
happen.
know.
Yeah, that started mine.
But
Ah,
I've got how many people have submitted their ideas to me?
Hmm.
One.
Are you
actual-
the erstwhile editor of such a thing?
You know what? I mentioned an interest in
The curator, if you will.
much
The head honcho.
Silverline kind of operates on that way, that there's this fashion that someone expresses an interest. It's just like, any small organization or like, like a church or like
So that's a
or
great idea. Why don't
charity.
you run with
Someone-
that?
Run with
I've-
that.
I've got an idea. What if we? And then the head honcho says like, yeah, that's a great idea. You should run with it. And so I said,
It's a great opportunity for you.
At which point you're like, you're doing the whole.
I just thought it was a good idea. Don't make me the chairman of the horror.
I want to
committee.
work on it, not run it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
gosh.
mentioned it.
If that wasn't the Coast Guard, that's how the Coast Guard runs.
Gosh.
Is that how it works?
The moment you get qualified, when I was on a buoy tender, and I loved it. Retrospect, loved it. But I realized everybody that gets a qualification means more work for that hiney hole. That
designation.
guy, we would go to Chicago. So this is Lake Michigan. We'd go to Chicago, and I realized the guys that were qualified on the M16s and security training never got to leave the ship. I'm like, why would I want to be qualified to do security in port? I want to go get a beer in Chicago.
That's a good point.
I mentioned to Roland that yes, a horror anthology would be cool, and I have had one person actually send a real submission. So, reminder to all of our creators, all of our Silverline creators.
I did actually have an idea. Now I got to try to remember what.
That's
it was.
where my Wendigo idea is percolating.
Percolating.
Percolate is the word.
Percolate. Yes.
What's that?
Enunciate.
I remember what it is.
ASAP, because we want it out before Halloween, because we want to write that.
Wow.
That horror. We want it in people's hands before Halloween, so they can
let's be editing by summer.
Halloween 2024, 2025.
Jeez, come on, people, come on. Yeah, short horror stories. Horror. That is another word that we need to enunciate. A house of horrors.
Yes.
Horrors.
A horologist.
So
you don't want to have a.
So it can't just be spooky. It has to be scary.
Scary. Okay.
Yes. Scary.
As people in New York might say, it's a horror show.
Horror.
You
gotta. Yes. You do not want a pianist in your horror show.
No, you don't. Keep it classy. Keep it classy. With his crew, right? It's totally impossible.
No.
Okay, so what was the title again, Rob? Because you had the classy version of the title.
After the people have
gone.
See, I like
that. Gone.
I like that as the title
because it opens it up for other ways they could be gone.
Ooh, like The Walking Dead.
Man,
that's good.
Wow, the creepy factor elevates.
Ooh, yes.
Wow, just as Scott takes another swig of his adult beverage, ladies and gentlemen, who knows what's in there?
I know.
Yes, it's tea, but what kind?
Yes,
it's tea.
I would like someone. Okay, this is Barb. Put this in a line item for our budget.
Okay,
we need to have an official show watcher to track the course of the show. It'll be subject, start, line, then the next subject, and then it branches off to this subject and this, and then it will come back to this subject.
Right, yeah.
And then
it's a genealogy tree.
It would be that person would need to get paid a lot of money to keep track of our conversations.
Well, since you volunteered, Scott,
you are.
See how it all comes back around?
You are the continuity master.
Okay,
let me get my part of the running show theme.
My 5 cards here.
There you go. Well, I think we've reached that point in the night where we say good night. We say happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Everybody.
Parting words other than that,
enjoy family and food and all the season. I hope you guys all have a great time.
I am the best prospector in the world.
Yes, we will be picking up again after the new year. And as we like to close our show and close this year, we like to say, make mine
Silverline.
Hey, this is Paul Pelletier. Make mine Silverline. Is that okay, Roland?